Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Lori.
We're talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode number 7, The Husbands. It's
Is that what it was
titled?
named?
Yeah, Husbands.
That is funny.
Yes. We start off where we left off with the fight at the party between Justin, John, Whitney, and Lisa. Lisa keeps yelling she's a liar. Literally, they're acting like crazy people at Angie's party. I mean, that's what I wrote
Crazy
down.
people.
Crazy
Yes,
people.
It was
Crazy.
mob themed, so
I know, but it was a family party. Like, there were kids there. Her father was there. There was other family. Like, it was not the place to be acting a fool. And last time,
what happened at her Orthodox Easter party?
Exactly. Like, if I was her, I would not invite these women to my house ever again.
No. And then in the middle of it, she's like, "Okay, Mary's gonna bless our union now." And Mary makes Lisa and Whitney
hold hands. That was great.
I love that.
Do it.
And they're still bickering as they're doing it, which I thought was hysterical. Honestly,
Very funny.
that was my favorite part at that point, because I was like, oh my God. And they're listening to Mary, of all people?
I know. Well,
Well,
she is a preacher.
Yeah.
Just like.
Preach, Mary, preach.
So then after that, they get through that, Whitney and Justin leave. And as soon as the blessing's over, next day we see Lisa and John are talking about what happened last night. And I loved how John said, I'm going to stand up for my mouthy wife.
Yeah,
And
that was funny.
Lisa
I think
laughed.
John's the MVP husband of this.
Lisa
I don't know,
laughed.
though. Bronwyn's husband at the end comes in pretty nicely too. So, but I really like John.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I was taking notes on this today, and Bill happened to be sitting there, and he's like, I said, can you believe he said that? He goes, well, she is kind of mouthy. I was like, yeah, no, she is kind of mouthy.
Next time I'm watching a Housewives show and Eric comes in the kitchen, he goes, I don't know how you watch these bitches.
Bill says that. He doesn't call them bitches. He's like, I don't know how you watch this. I don't know how you watch this. He says it all the time.
How you watch these
Every
bitches.
time that my husband comes in, he goes like this.
What does that mean?
Then everybody's got duck lips.
Lip injections.
My husband has such an aversion to that. If he'll come home from Walmart or Lowe's or something, he'll be like, I saw some girl.
There's a lot of them around here.
And she had so much lip. It's so he just thinks it's gross.
So Eric walked in the other night and I was watching OC and Jennifer Padronti was on the camera and he was like, oh my God, she looks awful. I'm like, what? I think she's the most beautiful one out of all of them. He's like, oh, other than Emily. I think Emily's and Gina. But he was like, no, look at her face. She's all doctored up and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I thought,
Nope.
So John said his protector mode kicked in when Justin stepped toward her and, responded to him. And I thought it was funny. Then Justin and Whitney are in the kitchen and Justin is dumping all the alcohol that they have been gifted by Lisa. And he's dumping it down the drain. And Whitney's like, but what about the Vita tequila? It's a brand new bottle. He's like, nope.
Listen, I thought I was immature.
He was being a housewife.
My God.
He was being.
Like, Justin, how old are you?
He was being Justina.
Yeah, he
was
really
doing. He
was. That was very
And Whitney's face was like, no, it's good, it's good luck.
Well, donate it. Who are you donating it to?
To herself, to her garage, back to her garage where it came from. It's
where
she was donating it.
Yeah.
But after he did it, he said he felt better. So listen, sometimes that's what you need to do.
Sometimes you need those immature moments.
Yeah. That's so he
I
felt
have
better.
them plenty.
And then Whitney asked if, John and him are going to be okay. And he said, listen, that he's never had a problem with John before. And then shortly after, John does text him, to come meet up with him, which is good.
Yeah.
Then we see Brittany go over to Laser Lab to meet up with Heather. And she sits down and Heather starts about to talk about the fight. And Brittany's like, no, what about Jared showing up? I
totally thought she was talking about Jared when she was like, oh my gosh, could you believe? And she's like, I know. And then she starts talking about the fight. She's like, oh, I thought you were talking about Jared.
Stop.
It just shows you how unaware she was. It was only about her.
And self-involved, self-obsessed.
And wouldn't you,
I don't know.
if you have a friend and they're sitting down and telling you that they have been in toxic relationships in the past, and that this relationship that you are pursuing is toxic, wouldn't you take pause and say to yourself, well, maybe I should not, But no, she's just
I
gonna.
think when you're in it, you're in it. And he's clearly that guy that, has got her
wrapped. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think that Heather was, and I think she was being a good friend at this time because she said,
do
listen,
too.
Yeah.
and I'm not right this season. I'm not a big fan of Heather's. I don't like the way she's stirring the pot. But in this particular instance, I think she was spot on saying, listen, it effed up my life.
Yeah.
I was in a toxic relationship and I don't want this for you.
Yeah.
You want to get your girls back, like focus on that. And she's
she basically admits, like, I prioritize him over my daughters.
She
How
said
old are
men.
her kids? Do we know?
She said men. She didn't specifically say him, but
yes, she prioritizes men over her children. Do we know how old her kids are?
we don't.
Like, I wonder if they're young. I don't know. Either way, it's sad. Like, kids need their parents.
No, they do. And her mom has passed away and now she's really feeling lonely because she doesn't have her daughter. She doesn't have her mom. I mean, her dad is still there, but she has.
Well, you said men. She does have the spreadsheets.
Yeah, she does have the spreadsheet.
Man,
that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, please.
It does sound like a lot of work. Then we see Bronwyn and Todd. They go to lunch and they're talking about the party.
Wait, first we see Bronwyn picking him up at the airport in her inflatable costumes.
No, well, I think it was after that, but it was throughout that thing. But that's fine. We can talk about that.
I mean,
yes,
I could totally see Lori doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Would you get out of here? You would not.
Oh, yes, I would.
I could totally see Lori doing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you know what? This is the problem. It's you look at it and from the outside you say, oh, kind of like that's quirky and fun. But then when you really look at it, you're like, you know what? He travels a lot. So
yeah, every week.
How often are you doing this? And if it's not a once in a while thing, it's giving off, I'm desperate for attention. My husband travels too much. It just doesn't, when you really think about it, it just doesn't fool correctly.
You don't think she's just trying to be funny? Maybe she doesn't do it every time. They did show a decent amount of clips.
That's what I was thinking. The amount of clips that they showed, like, was this during her time filming or did they just go to the airport?
Well, he goes to New York every week for 3 to 4 days. So they filmed for a couple of months. So they could have taken
did they just
clips?
Or did they go there one time and she did all her outfits at once? Do you think really they followed her there every time? That's what I was wondering.
Got it. No,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
they were probably like, next, get the shark one out.
Yeah, it was I mean, when the shark one was going, I was like, oh, but then the more that came, I was like, oh my God, like this is really a thing.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't know. I thought it was.
We did it in one day.
I don't know.
There's
it's
probably
just
something
weird.
to what you're saying, Laura.
It's just a little too much.
It's a little too much. I would say that when they were sitting down at lunch and she was talking to him about the party last night and, about their 10-year anniversary. And she's telling him about like, she's not really great with Brittany. And he's like making his comments. I thought that they were rude. I thought that he was obnoxious. I didn't like their interaction together. I didn't feel like it was warm and fuzzy. Everything she said was based on the text messages. And I just thought he was snotty. Like I said, even when she was trying to talk about Gwen, he's like, you know how I feel about that. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
That I understood.
He even went so far as to cross his arms.
Yeah.
See that? He crossed it like a small boy. He crossed his arms and said, we're not going to talk about this.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, but wait a second. Where is she going to that venue with that outfit on? It was like going to McDonald's when you're supposed to be going to the opera. I mean,
I'm going to venture to say that we're not going to understand one outfit Bronwyn wears this season.
No.
She had on a lovely
go out
outfit.
on a limb and just say it.
When she went to visit Mary, she had on a lovely outfit. She looked lovely. But I thought to myself, where are you going with this lavender gown with this big feather thing? And you're going to like this restaurant.
You're going to like
sit
a pub.
outside.
You got fish and chips.
Odd. It was odd.
She had pizza and she was eating it with a fork. And Bill
Yeah.
even commented on that.
I noticed that.
Bill's like, because Bill was still there. He's like, she's eating pizza with a fork and knife. What
He
is that?
not from New Jersey or New York, people.
No.
I was like, I don't know. I just don't know.
I didn't catch him being so short with her talking about Whitney. I didn't catch that.
He was like condescending. He's
He
like,
was a little condescending.
yeah, he's like,
Interesting.
oh, that's the one that had 2 dates. And she's like, yeah, I'm not going to invite him. Well, then you'd have to invite 2 others. Well, maybe they had a threesome on the way home. Like, he just kept making digs.
Okay. I did catch that.
He just kept making digs. And I was like, this is not appropriate. It's not
Right.
appropriate coming from him. And then,
Right.
she put out on social media a screenshot of her text messages with him.
With her
Which
husband?
which I don't get either.
With her
Who
husband.
does that? Who does that?
You
Like,
commented on it, Lori, right? Because you
Did I?
you
I think I did.
commented. Yeah. I saw it because Wine Whenever commented on it on someone else's post, and Lori, I didn't know who of us did it, so now no, it was Lori.
yeah, me.
And you commented like, who does that? Puts out screenshots of your private text messages with your husband. I was wondering that, and someone underneath wrote,
What
"Well,
did
you're
they say?
you're the only
Right.
one that was wondering that." I'm like, no, there was other people wondering that.
It didn't say it.
Right. It was the text message that she sent to him the night of the party. Brittany's here. Oh, Jared's here. Oh, some other guy showed up. It was just her texting him what was going on, a play-by-play the night of the party.
Okay.
Which
so it
I'm
wasn't
sure-
anything like
Yeah, but I'm
a
sure
heavy
he could.
exchange between them.
No, but I'm sure he could really give a fuck what's going on at the party.
Yeah, exactly. What does he care?
What does he care?
He doesn't seem like he wants to be on the show.
No.
Maybe that's why he was so like short in that.
Well,
scene.
whatever, but
You're here.
Yeah.
Hey, how about in the confessional when Lisa is bitching about Whitney and she said, well, if I want to say something, I would go to the Post, to the New York Times. I would
Yes.
go on Good Morning America. Yeah, okay. Like they're really having you.
Right. Good morning,
So
America.
funny.
Right.
Yeah. She did say that. Yeah. No,
That's funny.
I don't really like Todd. I don't like the way he talks to Bronwyn. I don't like the way he talks about the interactions of the other ladies. I don't think he should be commenting on it. I thought it was like I said, he wasn't warm and fuzzy. I didn't get a good feeling about him, and I don't like that. Then we see Lisa and her younger sister Denise. They go out and they're talking about Henry, and
Oh, that was hard to listen to.
It was hard to
it was
listen to.
heartbreaking how Lisa was saying that, now that Jack is not there, he's kind of lonely. He always looked up to Jack, and Jack's friends were always around, and they kind of pumped him up and made him feel better, like he was one of the guys. And then Henry was having a birthday party, and he sent out last minute invites, and all the kids went to the other party instead. What I wasn't sure about was, she said as she was driving him, was she driving him to the other kids' party, or was she driving him to his own party?
I
And
think she was driving him to his own party. It was probably at a venue.
and nobody was going, and he was upset and didn't even want to go.
I guess maybe a couple of kids went, but not a lot, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully if he went, somebody showed up.
But why are you sending invites the last minute when you know someone else is having a party?
Well, I feel like because she said, was it my
They were
fault?
away.
Like she
They
felt
were away.
guilty. So
Yeah,
I think,
I think they were away somewhere.
yeah, I think she was probably the reason they were sent last minute.
Oh, I
You know,
mean, I didn't.
listen, we have enough to feel guilty about as moms. You
Yeah.
do something like that,
Yeah.
you're definitely going to feel guilty.
No, I knew she felt guilty, and she's like, I felt, bad about Henry. She felt like she failed him. I didn't know it was about the invitations. So
That's
Yeah,
how
all
I
right.
took it.
All right. Well, then
Right.
you could have scheduled it another weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then she said, it was hard to hear her friends call her a bad mom. I did feel for her in that moment because, we know it's hard being a mom, and,
And you always feel like you fuck everything up. So
100%.
When
We're always
someone-
wrong.
when
We're
somebody-
always wrong.
yeah, when somebody makes a jab at you, it's
yeah.
That's what I mean. Listen, we take the brunt of all the blame. We always feel like we're not doing the right thing. So for somebody else to call out your mothering skills is really shitty.
No, I totally agree. I totally
Especially
agree.
with these housewives, because we all have flaws and we all have insecurities, especially about being a mom. So
yeah. And
it's
but
just a shitty thing
but
to do.
they're both equally guilty because Lisa should have never brought up Electra,
Right.
and
Mhm.
Angie should have never said that about her son.
I agree.
No.
So
I agree. The next thing we see is Angie, Whitney, and Braun when they all meet up for a walk. Once again, Bronwyn is wearing her jacket. We'll just call it that. Move on.
Sleeping bag.
Whitney starts off with she's pissed off. She thinks Lisa and John owe her and Justin a major apology.
No, I don't think so.
That's what, Angie says. Do you really think that they're going to see it that way? She said she was just going up to Lisa to clarify a few things.
No, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't. No, she was not. And then Bronwyn invites them to this thermal outside of Palm Springs race that she's going to have this 10th anniversary party. I don't know what this race is. Is it like a Grand Prix? Some kind of race that she met him at, or she spent their first year. Yeah.
And it might be, if it's like a big thing, it might be something like you watch Jersey Shore, right? And they couldn't say Super Bowl. They had to keep calling it the big game. So maybe it's something like that. If it is a big event.
Right. Like
maybe
F1.
They can't say what it is. Yeah.
Imagine if it was F1.
Right.
I guess we'll have to wait and see what it is. That could be.
I did like, though, when they were on their walk and Whitney was going on and on and on about Lisa, Bronwyn did say, like, I'm not 100% on board with all this. Like, I'm glad that she said that, because at least when Lisa watches it back, because something clearly happens next week between Bronwyn and Lisa, and they ask them to leave. But at least when Lisa watches this back, she can see in that moment Bronwyn had her back.
Yes, definitely. And the next thing we see is Brittany's having the church gathering in her house.
Well, wait a second.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know Angie had a nose job, and I didn't know Bronwyn had two.
Oh, yeah, we did
she
find
can't
that
wait
out.
to have another one.
Yeah,
Right.
crazy.
Right.
They don't look like it. Well, Bronwyn maybe a little bit, but Angie didn't.
No. But who wants to get their face cracked open? I mean, I get it if you do it one time.
Right.
But who wants to do that over and over again? That's kind of...
Yeah, the multiple is...
Yeah,
I guess if you want the perfect nose, you have to do what you have to do.
Stages.
I mean, this is the nose that God gave me, and this is the nose that I have.
Me too.
So-
Mine's getting bigger over the years, I think.
I think
I
your
never
nose,
realized until I was on cue.
I think
Yeah, your nose and your ears continue to grow.
Yeah.
Ear
Well, I
and
have
nose
very tiny ears, so that's fine.
continue
to
But your
grow.
nose keeps growing?
Yes.
Yeah, your nose.
This explains a lot.
And you know what doesn't grow is the same size as birth? Your eyeballs.
Your eyes.
Your eyeballs.
Yep.
You're
Your
born
eyes.
with the same size.
That's why babies are so damn cute.
Because they got big eyes.
By the way, real quick sidebar. Did you see the cutest little flight attendant ever on Halloween?
Yes, I did. Tiffany's daughter.
So cute.
So cute.
MG.
She was adorable.
Adorable.
Shout out to our neighbor Tiffany and the cutest little flight attendant ever.
Yes. Very
so
cute.
She was dancing on my porch.
Aw.
Because I had this little pumpkin in the front, and it's like motion activated, and anytime you move in front of it, it plays Thriller. It plays Michael Jackson Thriller. So she was up there dancing. So cute.
Cute.
Yeah, it was cute. She was very cute. So what was next? Okay, Brittany and the party, the church gathering.
Fireside.
Fireside.
It was very
something.
interesting that Heather went to this and participated after writing a book called Bad Mormon.
Yeah, after her non-Mormonism.
Well,
And wait, how about this? So you're telling me that most Mormons are doing 2 of these a week plus going to church? Woo-wee.
I believe it.
Woo-wee.
I
Yeah.
believe it too. But you know what? I know Lori had said in the beginning that Brittany was not really Heather's friend, but I feel like Brittany is Heather's friend because Brittany did go to the laser lab. Brittany did invite Heather to this thing.
Maybe she's like a client at the laser lab, and maybe they knew each other back in the day when Heather was still in the Mormon church.
Maybe. I don't know.
You know?
Maybe. Yeah. And then Angie shows up with a bottle of wine, which honestly, listen, Angie, and they show all the clips of Brittany drinking. I know Mormons don't drink, but Brittany has drank wine many times. So I don't think
Brittany does. Brittany drinks, and it was at her house.
Right. I don't think it was inappropriate. I know that Heather said it was. I know Brittany said it was. I'm with Angie on that. It was not an inappropriate
Heather
gift.
said it was also?
Heather said it was. Yes. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that.
I guess her Mormon friends don't know that she drinks. Maybe that was the problem.
Sorry.
It's okay, Lori. It's okay. It happens.
Hi, honey. I'm on my podcast. Can I call you back? Okay. She hung up. So that's real life. You want to know
That
what
is real life.
You want to know what a real housewife does?
That is real life.
When your
She
kids
gets
call you,
hungry.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Angie calls Heather out on being blindly loyal to Lisa. And I don't know if it's being blindly loyal or just kissing Lisa's ass, because I
Yeah.
think that's what Heather's doing.
Yeah.
Listen, Mary called out Heather on it too. She said, listen, you've been friends with Angie for how long? And Angie lets us know since she was 15 years old.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know that last year when
No.
Angie came on.
I think I remembered hearing her say that.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
That's
Since high
interesting.
school. Yeah. And she said Lisa always wanted to be the popular girl.
Yeah.
You can totally tell Heather
Heather
probably
wanted-
not
Sorry,
wait.
sorry, I mean Heather. That's what I meant.
Heather
Sorry,
probably could not wait for this fucking show to be filmed.
Yeah.
She must have been over the moon when this,
And I feel like now that she's on the Ozempic and she's lost the weight, I think like she might be like feeling herself like a little bit too much.
Yep. She wants to be the breakout. There's always one.
What about Brittany when she starts the prayer thing or whatever you want to call it with the opening hymn and they're all sitting there singing? I mean, were you all sitting there cringing like I was?
Yeah.
Oh, because they were singing.
Yeah, I was like, and she's there directing them with her
Doing
Yeah,
this.
with the hand. That with the
Yeah.
hand was too much.
I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
was too much.
oh,
But I want to tell you something about her. I want
What?
to tell you something about her. She actually is a singer. So she did, you know that song on, I think it's with the Little Mermaid, that Part of Your World. You know that
Mhm.
song?
oh, yeah.
That's her.
Stop it.
Yes. So she
What?
recorded.
In
Yep.
the movie?
Yeah, she recorded that, and then some other songs celebrate the magic of Disney. She was in Broadway, Miss Saigon.
Stop it.
Yes, she's
New
been
York,
in,
Broadway, New York.
I don't know what Broadway. It said
'Cause
Broadway
really-
and it said
Yeah.
Miss Saigon. She's been in 14 motion pictures, 46 commercials.
What's her last
Check
name?
out her IMBD.
Yes, she does.
Yes, she
What
does.
is it? Bateman?
Bateman. You
I'll
look her up.
up.
She's currently recording a Christmas album that's set for release in 2024. She better hurry up if that's still going on. She's a real estate developer. She's co-founder and artistic director of a corporate party band called Groove Merchants. And she's the owner of Pure Productions, which is an entertainment production company. So she really can sing. Like if you
And
look her up
she's
online,
accomplished. She's
she
accomplished.
is very accomplished.
Why is she chasing these men? She doesn't need them.
Yeah.
acting like a dum-dum? I don't understand. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah, but you have to look her up. She's very accomplished.
I will definitely
Can't
look her
believe
up.
she sang that Little Mermaid song.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah. We find out a little bit about her father because he starts talking about his wife Katerina, his precious angel. And when she passed away, he cried every day for 2 weeks. And they dated for 6 days, then were engaged and got married, and were married 53 years. And that's what Brittany wants. She wants that fairy tale relationship, and she believes that he's out there for her.
I think that might be actually part of her problem, though.
I do too.
She is looking for this because I'm sure her parents had issues. I mean, nobody can be married for that long without having issues. And if you have
Totally
this,
agree.
if you have this picture in your mind of what somebody's relationship is, and it's probably not all that accurate, then you're just setting yourself up for failure again and again and again. I think she has this fairy tale version of her parents' marriage, and it's something that she is aspiring to. And that's not necessarily, real marriage is hard. It's a lot of work and it's messy and it's not.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because I think that we all have different experiences with it. And I don't think, listen, I'm not saying it's not work, but I don't think it's always messy. Because I will say that my parents were married for 60 years before my father passed. They made their 60th wedding anniversary. That is a long time. And I honestly, yeah, I'm sure they had hard times, but I never knew about it.
That's the thing. You never knew.
I never knew about it. So she probably never knew about it either.
Right.
You know?
But now you're an adult. Now you're a grown woman. So you should be able to, you should have enough emotional maturity to discern that
Yeah, but
it's not a fairy tale.
you can still get that, is what I'm saying. There can be somebody who is your person that you can spend the rest of your life with. Like that person does
Absolutely.
exist.
Yeah, then I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm just saying it's not, even when each person finds a person, it's still not a fairy tale.
But I think it's just a
Right.
definition of the fairy tale, because I think the fairy tale can be that you spend your entire life together, not that there's no bumps
Right,
along
but
the way,
I'm saying I think her perception is
that there's no bumps along the
that there's
way.
no
Yes.
bumps. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm trying to say.
I
Right.
agree. Yeah.
So Angie does let Lisa know that how she feels about her blind loyal Heather, how she feels about her and Heather's really answer to this whole thing is that she can be loyal to Lisa and Angie. Just because she's loyal to Lisa doesn't mean she can't be loyal to Angie. And I've said this before, but I really believe this. Like, if you are a friend to everyone, sometimes you're a friend to no one. And I will say this, bringing it back to Jersey. I just want to say that I feel like that's where Dolores falls in sometimes.
Totally agree.
Like, she never took a side. And I don't really feel like she was a good friend to anyone because of that.
You can't always
Wow.
beat Switzerland.
I don't think she was a good friend to Margaret.
Well,
I think she blindly is loyal to Teresa. She's the definition of blind loyalty to
yeah.
Teresa. She
Yeah.
was not a very good friend to Margaret. She sat there when they were at that whatever that
The
studio
sit down.
was. Yeah. And she heard she listened to Teresa say, "I want Jackie to bring Margaret down," and Dolores said nothing. That's when I lost it for Dolores.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know.
But
That's
I
how
don't
I
think
feel.
Heather is this extreme.
But you know what, though? I feel like Heather's going down that path. Like, she wants
Yeah.
to be the one that's going to be friends with everyone and be the Switzerland and be on both sides. Sometimes you have to pick a side. Sometimes you do.
Well, you have to be able to tell your friend when you think that they're not
Wrong.
exactly when they're wrong.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
100%.
Right.
You have to be able to tell your friends that.
You have to be able to say corkscrews. And
You have to be able to yell a corkscrew once in a
you have to be
while.
able to yell corkscrew.
100%.
Angie even said to her, she said, "You're not holding, her to the same standard that you're holding me to." And that's completely true.
Yeah.
And Heather did apologize at that point. She said, I'm sorry that, like, that's how you feel, but
Well, she did say she would take it into consideration, which I
yes.
thought was very an adult way to handle it.
Yes.
But really, I thought that was one of the most, out of all the shows that I've seen so far, is with all this fighting in inappropriate public places, at an at-home fireside church meeting is so not the place for any kind of personal conversation like that. I just thought that was like really, no.
Yeah.
I thought that was just not.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The next thing we see is the car trying to park in front of the restaurant, and we don't know whose
were you
car it
waiting
is.
for a housewife to come out?
100%.
I was waiting for myself to get out of that car. That's what I was waiting for. I thought, oh, look, there's me trying to parallel park. That's exactly what I thought.
I was waiting for it to pull out and go away. There wasn't going to make it, right? Like, I didn't. And then John gets out. I mean, they did John dirty.
They did him so dirty.
That was hard to watch. That was.
I'm
I mean,
an expert parallel parker, by the way, and that's because Patty lived in Hoboken for like 5 years, and I would go up on a Friday night after work and spend the weekend with her, Mike. And I had to learn how to parallel park.
Good to know. Good to know.
Expert level.
And
so
that
my husband is expert level.
That was before the backup camera.
100%. Listen, I was driving I didn't have my 83 Celica still. I had a 2-door Civic.
Yeah, that was before the backup cam.
Yeah, sure was.
Which he had, by the way. I'm just going to say that. He had the backup cam.
Yeah. My husband
that car should have been parking itself.
Yeah.
That's what
My husband
has
fit into places that no human should be able to park into.
Yeah. Yep.
I will say my husband's the same way. So they get into the restaurant and Justin comes in after John and he sits down and they talk about, like, it was awkward silence at first. And they talk about appetizers and they order their appetizers and they order the old fashioned together. And John
Worked
says,
out very good. Very well.
Yeah. John says, before we go any further, if you can hear me out and I'll hear you out. And Justin says, then Justin starts talking. He starts talking. He just let him start, which I thought was interesting. He's like, well, when Lisa comes directly at me, I'm, of course, going to defend my wife. So he didn't even let John get out what he wanted to say, which I thought was,
Yeah.
So John said, well, you got really angry fast, and then you took a step forward towards my wife. When he said that, I kind of looked back at it, and I was like, yeah, actually, he was right. Like, when you're watching it and you don't really see it from other eyes, like we were just talking about it. So that's what he saw. So, of course, that's why he's going to jump in that defensive mode. And then Justin's like, okay, well, I understand that. But now, how did it happen the second time? Which I 100% agree with him. He's like,
John just went up and grabbed his arm, and that wasn't necessary in that moment.
No.
Right. And John apologized. He did. He apologized. He said, listen, it was just a snap reaction from earlier. I saw you were there close with, my wife, and I just wanted to separate you, which I was glad that he apologized. But then when he thought that Justin needed to apologize to his wife, Lisa, I was like,
it's never going to happen.
Why would Justin need to apologize to Lisa?
No.
So I'm watching this whole thing and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is like a breath of fresh air. Like, if only the women could communicate like this. Like, I was like, oh, this would be so cool. And then I was thinking, well, then maybe there wouldn't be a show. But then I thought to myself, you know what? There would be a show because I would like to watch people communicating correctly. And then once he said that, I was just like, oh, okay.
There we go.
No, there goes that thought down the toilet.
And we're back.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that was out of line.
I liked how Justin handled it, though. I like how he said, like, yeah, no.
I'm going to have to think about it.
I'm going to have to think about that. And I will say this to people. If you don't know what to say and you don't like what someone said to you, you need to just say, I need to think about that. Like, that needs to be your go-to instead of popping off.
Right.
Just give it a minute and say, you know what? I need to think about that. And then walk away.
I need to take that advice. Yeah. I think that's great advice.
Yeah. So then after that, we see that Heather goes over to Bronwyn's house and Bronwyn gives her a brief tour. She lets her know that, no one's ever had the tour before. And we find out she has 6 dogs. I didn't realize she had that many.
The dog poop on the floor was concerning.
What is up with that? So first of all, how do you have somebody come over your house like that? You have all this money, hire somebody to look after your dogs, take them out, clean up. And how do you let production put that in?
Wow. I'm sure she didn't even know it was happening. I'm sure production got the pictures of, the film of it. They recorded it. And then they got Heather. I'm sure they asked Heather in her confessional about it. I'm sure production set that whole thing up, and Bronwyn probably didn't even know what was happening until she watched the show back.
That's horrible. That's horrible. But I do love how Heather said that Mary's house was Whoville and that Bronwyn's house was Pound Puppy's Palace. That was great.
That was great.
That
was funny
stuff.
That was, I completely agree. And I think it was totally disgusting that you would invite people into your home with dog poop and pee. It wasn't just poop.
No,
Yeah, it was concerning.
And when Heather said, like, maybe before you invite somebody over, you invite the pooper scoopers over to pick up. And that's 100% correct.
Not only that, you put this food out on a low table
with the dog.
Dogs, and then you leave it and take her around your house. And then she's trying to eat something. The dog's like trying to take it. Like, I have animals, but no, that doesn't go on.
No. So then after that, Heather sits down and she says, I'm surprised you invited me because it doesn't seem like you like me very much. And then Bronwyn's like, well, it doesn't seem like you like me very much either. So she said that she was sorry. Bronwyn apologizes that, things went sideways, that she didn't want to get to know her that way. And she admits that when she heard her and Lisa talking about her and Angie talking about Lisa. Wait. You and Lisa were talking about Angie. When she heard her and Lisa talking about Angie, she went back and told her, and that that was messy of her.
She
Owned it.
accountability for
She
it.
absolutely took it. She totally owned it. And Heather's like, well, that's the definition of messy. Well, she's like, yeah, and you need
And
me to
I'm
own that.
apologizing for it.
Yeah, I'm owning it. If you need me to own that to move on, I'm owning it. I'm sorry. And she's like, I don't need you to do anything.
Yeah, Heather got very, very defensive.
She
Very
definitely did.
defensive.
She did. And then she went on to say, like, why did you even invite me here? And she's like, well, to be honest with you, it's because I'm planning this weekend, and I wanted us to be good together. And I didn't want to not invite you because then that would, we couldn't move forward. But I don't feel like we can invite you the way things are going now. And Heather's like, so what? You want me to come like sing for my invite? Like, I don't think that was the point.
No, she just
I
wanted
think
to be okay with you because you're staying in the same house. She's already not inviting Brittany.
Right. Which I guess means Brittany is just a friend of, right? If you're not invite.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, do they have something between them? I can't keep up.
Well, she doesn't.
No, they do. They do. Remember when they were at that table and Brittany was like, did you marry your husband for money?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess Heather's not going on the trip next week either.
I don't think she is because we don't see her in the
And she leaves.
upcoming, right? We don't see her.
Now, Bronwyn said something interesting in her confessional. She was like, you have to love Lisa for exactly who she is because she's not going to change. And I think that's true.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not somebody that I don't think I could necessarily hang around with, but that's just because, I don't know. She's just not I don't think she's in my tribe. But she's right. It's like and especially like this situation, if you're working with somebody, they are who they are. So you just kind of have to deal with it and don't think that someone's going to change, especially for somebody that these people are work relationships. They're not, they're not necessarily personal friend relationships. They might at one time, move into that sphere, but to begin with, these are work relationships. So you really shouldn't expect somebody to change for you when it's not a personal experience.
I agree. And she also said something in her confessional at the end. And she said that she was giving Heather the best version of me. And that's not good enough for Heather. And that's something that's one of her biggest fears, is that the best version of herself isn't good enough for others. And I really kind of felt for her at that moment. I did. I felt like she was really trying, even though I'm really not sure just yet how I feel about Bronwyn. I think I need to know a little bit more about her. But at that moment, I was like, she's being real. She's being real.
But see, to me, you put that together with the costumes,
right,
going to the airport, and I start to be like, and
she's
all of
got
her
some insecurities.
Yeah, like I feel like she kind of puts on this show and dresses in these costumes / couture. It's like a deflection.
Right.
So, but that, I'm not judging her. That comes from her past trauma.
right.
So, I think that's just it's just how she operates.
I agree with that. And I agree that, like you said, the costume / couture, because when she initially said I show up in costumes, I thought she meant her couture. But then when I saw the shark, I was like, oh, no, she means costumes.
She means Party City costume.
Right. Like, because I do think
Halloween.
Right. Her couture is over the top costuming. It really is.
Yes, very costuming.
And initially I was like, oh, no, I'm here for it. But now I see it more like it's more of a cry for help, to be honest with you. And that makes it sad. It makes it sad. And I don't want to judge her, but I just what I see right now, I feel bad for her. I do.
Yeah. And then you couple that with the interaction that you see with her husband.
Right.
And then it just makes you just go, like what's really going on there?
Right. It's not warm and fuzzy. It's not,
Yeah.
No. We shall see.
Yeah. I would say anything else for Salt Lake, or we good?
Oh, is done.
No, not for Salt Lake, but we should talk about the blind item that came out today.
Yes. Talk about it, Cal.
So, like last week, there was a blind item, which, by the way, it's very Gossip Girl, the blind items. It's very Gossip Girl, the way they word it. But anyway, it was alluding to the fact that an OC wife was headed for divorce. And we find out today that it's Teddy Mellencamp and Edwin, which is upsetting. I mean, it makes sense because she does live in the OC now, even though she was a Beverly Hills housewife. But I thought I liked them together. And
Yeah,
I wonder what happened. She has made comments in the past, I thought, intimating that he has been unfaithful in their marriage.
that was years ago, though, I thought, when she was on Beverly Hills. And I thought that
Yes,
they had moved past that.
me too. So I hope that's not what happened. But who knows? Who knows? That's upsetting, though, because I
No,
like them.
it is upsetting. Even if you're not a Teddy fan, and a lot of people are not Teddy fans, because she made the announcement herself today on her Instagram. And I
Yeah.
did see a lot of people saying, like, even though I'm not a fan of Teddy, nobody wants that for anybody. Nobody wants a
No.
divorce. Nobody wants to see a broken marriage. And I do feel bad for her. I do.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I like her anymore, though.
She doesn't bother me. I think it's because I can't stand Tamra so much. But even before this season with Tamra, I don't know. Teddy doesn't bother me that much. I didn't mind her on Beverly Hills. I do think just the fact that she's John Mellencamp's daughter gives her the right to be on the show. I didn't think she was boring.
I'm joking. She doesn't bother me either, to be quite honest with you. I just think she gets such a bad rep. And I 100% agree with you. I mean, the fact that she's on with Tamara, who has now become enemy number one for any housewife fan. It just, you had said this last week. I hope she's not going to bring down Teddy.
Yeah, I was worried for the podcast.
Right. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. Bye.
Bye.